Normally, imprisonment itself is already a severe punishment, but in various parts of the world, some prisons adopt even more extreme, bizarre, and unusual methods to punish their inmates. Today, we will explore some of the most extraordinary prison methods in the world. Let's start with this prison in the capital of Haiti. Here, prisoners face inhuman conditions, which not only violate human rights but can also be described as barbaric. Due to overcrowding, inmates are held in tiny cells, almost like cages, with up to 50 people or more. The space is so limited that they can barely move or lie down to sleep. Additionally, there are no toilets, and many prisoners face shortages of food and water. The food served often is spoiled and impossible to consume. But that's not all. Guards are known for their especially brutal behavior and for arbitrarily punishing prisoners. What makes it even more distressing is the fact that 80% of the prisoners here are held without trial. These inhumane conditions have a devastating impact on the mental health of inmates, leading to high rates of depression, anxiety, and psychological trauma. Furthermore, the lack of hygiene and poor sanitary conditions within the prisons contribute to the spread of diseases and epidemics, jeopardizing the health of all inmates. Social isolation and loneliness are also serious issues, exacerbating the psychological and emotional suffering of prisoners. The neglect of prison authorities and the Haitian government in addressing these issues only worsens the situation, demanding urgent action to protect the basic rights of inmates and improve their living conditions. Now, returning to a rather harmless yet quite curious prison method. In a prison on the Philippine island of Cebu, prisoners are required to dance in broad daylight. Yes, you heard it right. In this prison, inmates have to dance every day. In recent years, the Philippine prison has garnered much attention due to viral videos showcasing hundreds of prisoners performing impressive dance choreographies to songs like Michael Jackson's Thriller. In fact, even an astronaut participated in a dance challenge at the prison during the Duel Around the World program. Inmates can choose from a variety of dances, including traditional Filipino dances like the Tiny Klingon or the Caranosa. Additionally, they can create their own costumes and accessories to make their performances even more impressive. The idea behind this unique concept is that dance can help inmates relieve stress, build confidence, and strengthen their bodies and minds. This approach not only provides a form of artistic expression but also fosters a more positive and collaborative atmosphere within the prison, contributing to the rehabilitation of the inmates. Continuing with the Central Prison Bank in Thailand, also known as the Bangkok Hilton. This prison is also completely overcrowded and suffers from a lack of hygiene, food, and water. The Bangkok Hilton is famous and infamous for its bizarre methods of punishment. One of them is the so-called death bed, where members of criminal organizations are tied to a narrow bed with ropes and belts. They are only released when they confess completely. For ordinary prisoners, there is a bizarre punishment in the first 3 months of their sentence. Heavy iron weights are tied to their legs, making movement difficult and preventing any possible escape. Moving on to a severe prison method in the United Arab Emirates, which starkly contrasts with the modern image the country tries to project to the world. While Dubai is often promoted as an ideal place to live, with its towering skyscrapers and luxuries, the conditions in prisons are far from ideal. Especially for crimes such as alcohol consumption, drug possession, or extramarital relations, the punishments can be draconian. A common punishment is the so-called flogging, where the individual is tied to a pole, similar to the times of Jesus, and publicly whipped. Additionally, prisoners are forced to stand for hours on end, sometimes up to 24 consecutive hours. Now, let's move from these dark methods to an unusually positive prison approach on the Norwegian island of Bastøy. Here, there is a prison that has become known worldwide as a luxury prison. Prisoners have a completely different experience from other correctional institutions. Instead of cells, there are small houses where prisoners live and work together. Additionally, truly unusual methods are applied. Prisoners have their own schedule and can organize their work independently. It may sound strange, but there are no guards to supervise the prisoners. Instead, the prison administration trusts that they can self-regulate. Moreover, on the island, there are plenty of leisure options, such as sports facilities, libraries, a swimming pool, and an indoor climbing wall that prisoners can use. They can also participate in workshops and courses to learn new skills or engage in fishing, soccer, or cycling. Interestingly, in 30 years, there has been only one escape attempt on Bastoy, and the rates of recidivism are much lower among former inmates. Let's head to South America and to a truly unique prison, San Pedro, in Bolivia. Prisoners don't live in cells, but in their own small houses. Moreover, they can even live with their wives and children, as San Pedro is a true prison city. While women and children can leave the city at any time, criminal men must stay home. The prison city consists not only of individual houses but also offers shopping opportunities, sports areas, and even a daycare. Theoretically, in San Pedro, it's not really necessary to leave the prison to lead a relatively normal life. However, there are still conflicts in San Pedro, as serious criminals live side by side with women and children. Highly questionable are the methods of Tent City Prison in the American state of Arizona, which was closed in 2017 for being deemed ineffective. Here, Sheriff Hajo ruled alone over a massive tent prison, rather than in the Arizona desert. Prisoners were exposed to the sun in extremely high temperatures, sometimes exceeding 50 degrees Celsius, and the sheriff devised bizarre methods to humiliate them. One of his approaches was to make all men wear pink underwear and walk hand in hand around the yard. Sheriff Hajo claimed that this would help undermine the inmates' self-esteem and thus change their attitude towards life. Finally, let's talk about the prison methods of a country where even normal life seems like a punishment, North Korea. Survivors who managed to escape from the isolated country have reported in interviews that prisoners in North Korea are not locked in normal cells, but rather in tiny cages, which are only 120 centimeters long and 1 meter high. They receive only 80 grams of spoiled food per meal, which not even pigs would eat. One of the most well-known methods in North Korean prisons is the so-called punishment pit, a deep pit where inmates must stay in the summer, under the scorching sun, for days on end. In fact, there are many other even crueler methods, and in North Korea, even the simplest reasons can land someone in prison. For example, a woman was sentenced because, during a flood, she first saved her children from the water instead of an image of the leader that every North Korean is supposed to have in their home. Those who go to prison in North Korea must also be prepared for their parents, grandparents, and even their own children to be punished. If you want to watch a video as good as this one, click on the video that appears on your screen. Until next time.